Hi friends, welcome to Rita's Paper Motif. This morning I wanted to show you how I made this card, and before we get started I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Rita with Rita's Paper Motif, and my goal is to share with you different ideas using different stamp sets to create cards that you can share with others as an act of kindness. So as we get started, I just wanted you to be able to see this card. It does say thinking of you, and in the inside it says have a beautiful day. So my favorite color is purple, and I was excited to be able to use some of this scrap paper. The scrap paper I really wanted to use was this paper. Let me get one that's not with something on top of it. So it is this paper, and it's the kind of that lilac or light purple with a little bit of darker purple, like arrows or triangles in it. And I had some of this as a scrap, and I really wanted to use it. So thinking of that, I was thinking how I could use this purple and what I could put with it. So I didn't have enough scrap to do a whole card front as a base. So I just looked into my different stamp sets, and I realized that I had this stamp set. I hadn't used it in a while. I really do like it. It's very Versailles. And what I like about it is the stamp set that is the script. And I kind of have a liking for script lately. And so I thought, well, I wonder how I could incorporate that in the card. So then as I got to thinking, I thought, I could stamp it on the card because I don't have enough of this for the whole card front. What if I just did some script? And what if I did light purple on, or dark purple and light purple on here? That might look nice. So that's kind of where I went with this. So I'm going to make this card quickly with you today, and I did want to let you know that these items are available for you at the website at ritaspapermotif.com, and all you have to do when you're at the home page is go ahead and click shop now, and it'll take you to my store. And as always, when you are ordering, please remember my host code. We do get credit when you purchase with our host code, and I also in return like to reward you with some gifts. So here is my host code for the month. And then let's get started now. So I knew that I wanted to put script on some light cardstock, and I knew in order to do that, I needed to be certain that if I had to stamp it twice, that I would be able to do that accurately. So what I did is I took my Stamparatus, and I do already have that ready to go. What I want to make sure is that that stamp is clean, because we're going to position the stamp on this light purple paper, and I don't want to have any issues here. So let's go ahead and put it at the corner, and I'll put my magnet there, and then I'm going to move this stamp that was at this other side, and I'm going to position it on here where I would want it. So I'm going to need to move that magnet just a little bit, and this is how I want it. So I'll put the magnet right there. Oh, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. So we're going to go ahead and put the magnet right there so the paper does not move. And close. This is so sticky when I don't want it to move when I take my hand off here. And actually it's okay if you don't. All right. Now we have that on there. We have the paper where we want it. And I'm going to use the Gorgeous Grape ink. I love, again, purple. How many times do I need to say that, right? I love purple, so let's go ahead and ink up this script stamp. And I like to put something underneath my face here, my Stamparatus face, because when it goes all the way down, it's hard to ink it evenly if it's not level. So let's go ahead and ink this up. Again, using the Gorgeous Grape. Also can be found at my store. And you'll also find there the cardstock. And we are using some Gorgeous Grape cardstock as well. And that's the darker, of course. But you can find that at the store as well. Now I'm going to move this out and move this over so that you're in camera sight. And let's go ahead and stamp this. Now I like to use the palm of my hand or even my fingers to make sure that this gets pressure to stamp that paper. Now we can always do it again if we need it, and I think we do, because as you can see it's very faint. So let's just go ahead and stamp it again. Let's get our ink. I had put it away because I tend to get ink everywhere when it's open. So let's go ahead and stamp it again. One of these days I'm going to make or get one of those tools that you can use to put pressure on your stamp so that it stamps more evenly. Okay, and I think that's good enough. So I'm going to just quickly clean off my stamp because I don't like to put it away dirty or forget to clean it, just in case. You know, sometimes when you're like in a hurry or you don't want to have to stop to do all these things, it's better just to do it when you use it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off now, and we can put away the Stamparatus. And now we can assemble our card, start assembling our card. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is that what is really, really nice is that Stampin' Up! Also shares these little cards. They're like the little note cards. They're already cut for you and they're scored, and then all you have to do is go ahead and fold them, and then with your bone folder you can varnish that fold line. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll put this to a side while we're getting the card front ready. And this is the lilac color that I had in was a scrap, and so we're going to glue or adhere our items on here. So I'm going to move this to the side, and I want to put the script on this darker purple, making sure that the direction is correct. And I'm going to use my silicone mat. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I don't always use it, and then I regret it, because especially the other day I was using my liquid glue, and some pressure built up around the spout, and so I did go ahead and you know, try to unplug it, but I guess there was a little bit still left, a little bit of blockage still left in the neck of the bottle, and you guessed it. When it finally came out, it blew all over the place. It was a mess, and I didn't have my silicone mat under there, and I was a little frustrated with myself, and cleanup was a mess. Okay, so I've glued it on here, or adhered it on here, and I'm going to take this strip that I have a border punch that I just went ahead and did a border, because when I put it on the lilac and then put it on the card, it needed something. It needed some pizzazz. So I just went ahead and did a scalloped edge. So let's go ahead and adhere that. And I am going to put glue on my seal tape. I love this tape. This is my adhesive by preference. You don't find anything getting blocked up in the neck of it. And it's also very, very strong. So let's just go ahead, and I'm going to do it this way so that I can make sure to, all I really want is the scalloped part. So I'm going to make sure that I get it as even as I can. And then I can always clip off anything that's extra. So there's a little bit of extra here. We'll just clip off. And there we are. So now we can go ahead and glue it or adhere it to this part. And before we do that, let's go ahead and this is the part that started all of this little print here. So let's go ahead and glue it to the darker, to the gorgeous grape cardstock as well. Sometimes with my seal, if you don't run it just right, sometimes it reminds you that it likes you to handle it in a certain way. And then I'm going to put the sentiment on this white strip that I have cut out. Now, all these measurements, I don't want you to worry about them right now while you're watching the video, but you can definitely go to my website at ritaspapermotif.com, and then all the measurements will be there for you, and you can definitely recreate it. All right, we're going to go ahead and use that gorgeous grape again, and this stamp is from the stamp set with the script, the very Versailles, and it says, always thinking of you. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that here. Line it up as best I can without getting my head in the camera. Oh, pretty good. Okay, and again, we're going to go ahead and clean that stamp because that's what we do. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to this strip here. Which is your adhesive of choice? I'd like to know. I think the popular one is the liquid glue, and certainly there are times when that one is appropriate. But I do try to shy away from it if at all possible. All right, so I've stuck that on here, and now I think that we are able to go ahead and adhere it onto the lilac here. So okay, and I want to just make sure again about the direction, and I'm going to, I want to put it closer to the left hand side, of course with a margin, and so I'm going to go ahead and try to get it as straight as possible. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick this down here. Before we do that, let's go ahead and put it on our card. And before we put it on our card, we need to take care of the inside of the card. Now, two things, and that is, it's always a great idea to never have a naked envelope and always stamp your sentiment before. You've gone through a lot of work to do this front, but if you go ahead and adhere it to the front and then you mess up on the stamp, so you're kind of in it. You kind of have an issue at that point. So let's go ahead and stamp on the inside. If for some reason we make a mistake or we're not happy with it, we can always start with a new card. Okay, so let's go ahead. And this stamp, of course, is saying have a beautiful day. And we are finished, I believe. Oh, we are not finished with the gorgeous grape. So the other thing, remember I said it's always good to decorate your envelope and the inside of the card. So this is also, this stamp is also part of the stamp set. Now I don't want the whole line kind of thing. I don't want it. But in this original card, I did use this little vine. And then when I thought, I want to mimic something inside, right, to tie it all together. So what I did is I just took that vine and I put it on the inside, but I didn't use it all. So that's the same thing that we're going to do here. Now, if you have, I'm not going to put this on the front today on the one that we're making together. But if you have something else that you want to decorate it with, or perhaps you have ideas of what you want to do, then that's fine, but try to tie it all together inside. So let's go ahead and we're going to, now when I put this on my acrylic block, I didn't put the whole thing on the block, and I did that for a reason. And that is I don't want to stamp this whole, I don't want this whole stamp on my card here. So I'm going to go ahead and ink only what is showing. And for the purposes of decorating the inside, especially with this, it's okay if it's somewhat light, because we're not trying to compete with the outside. We're just trying to embrace it. So let's go ahead and stamp here. And then that brings not only the color, but also the lines of the script are somewhat, they're kind of related. They kind of flow the same. So that does a thing for your eye. And then I'm going to do this, or I did this on the envelope for the other card, and we're going to do it on the envelope for this card. So I did just clean my stamp, which is a good thing. That means I'm in the habit of it, but I need to use it again. All right, so let's try that again. Let me know if you like this script, and if you like to use script in your cards. And also, while we're stamping here, it always helps if you like the content, and also to know or to be aware of when I upload more content. Go ahead and push that subscribe button. I'm ever thankful for that. All right, so we decorated the inside of the card and the envelope. And also, as you make cards, sometimes you'll accumulate quite a few cards. So the good thing is you can always put them together in sets and even give them as gifts. So here's our envelope, and that will just assure that I know that this envelope goes with this card. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and do the front. This time we're really going to do it. So let's turn this over and get some adhesive on it. And I like using this silicone mat that I'm adhering on, or using to adhere, because it does keep your work surface free, and it would be a very good investment for you. Well, I didn't use this right, and it's not feeding. It's easier if you just roll your adhesive, and that's something I have to be ever conscious of, because I just tend to jab at it, I guess. So let's go ahead and adhere this to the front. Now this card base is the same or card front is the same measurements as the card front. And that's because depending, if it's a light color, I don't usually like a lot of white to show on my cards, and I do tend to use white card bases. Now, if it's kind of dark and it needs to kind of lighten up the darkness, then I definitely like that white card base to show. All right, so there we go. We're going to go ahead and put the sentiment on. Now, you can pop this up with dimensionals if you want. The reason I'm not going to is I'm going to mail this, and, you know, postage has gone up, and so the more bulk you have in your card, then it kind of will add postage to it. And I'm also going to want to put some bling on it, so I'm going to try to kind of downplay the bulk here. So let's go ahead and adhere this as well. Okay. And it's okay if it overlaps. In my opinion, it's okay if it overlaps this one. Biggest thing is to get it straight, and that's something to be conscious of with keeping my head out of the camera. And then, okay, so now we have that, but to me right now it still looks a little plain. So what I would suggest at this point for myself is to go ahead and add some bling, and we'll move this silicone mat. Again, can be found at the website at ritaspapermotif.com. If you have one and you like it, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to use some of these rhinestones that I had in my stash, and the reason I like it is because it's the dark and the light purple, and I do have some smaller ones that I can use. I'm not, these are kind of big right here, but I'm going to go ahead and use the smaller ones, and I'm going to put 2 right here. Now we do like to go ahead and use an odd number, and the reason is it's supposed to be more pleasing to the eye. And so let's see here. There's 3. And I'm going to put this one right here. I think I'll put it right here. Now these have adhesive on the back. I haven't had a problem with them coming off, but if you are, if it kind of makes you concerned, you can go ahead and put some glue dots on there. And then I'm going to take some of these rhinestones that I'm not sure, I just kind of stuck them all together, but I can see in the light that some of them turn purplish, so I'm going to go ahead and take them off, and I want 2 of those. And the reason I want 2 is, remember, we're going to do this in numbers of 5, I mean of odd numbers, sorry. Okay, so there we go. Now, as I'm putting on these rhinestones, I did feel this sticking a little bit to my mat, so I'm going to turn this card over and see what might have happened. And there we go. We can see that I have a rhinestone sticking to my finger here. Let me get it off. Okay. So it does look like we need to clean up our edges a little. And so I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and do that. I'm going to use the card side as a guide. Okay, so good. We got it. All right, and I did, as I was doing this card, I did use my take and pick tool. That's another option that you'll find at the website. This is an excellent tool to have in your inventory. So this side or this tip can be interchangeable. You can switch them. This is the pick part, and this is like a spatula. And so when you put it back in, it does lock, and then you can use whichever side. Now there is a side that goes to this. I don't have it on right now because it has a little putty on the tip, and it's great for picking up your sequins or bits of paper. And what happens is, mine, I don't know why, it kind of goes loose when the part that screws in sometimes will loosen up, and then when I go to tighten it, so it's not the loosening up part that is an issue, but when I go to tighten it, if I don't stop, then what I do is I increase that little putty that comes out the tip, and before you know it, the putty is like clear out here, and and then I've wasted it. So I just take it off, but when I need to use it, it's so easy just to put it on, and it's very useful. So I would say that this is a great investment. So if you're starting out, or you would need the use of something like this, it'd be well worth your time to go ahead and invest. Again, in the catalog. All right, so here is our card. We've finished with our card. Now, a couple things you could do. You could put a bow on here, which would be great. Or if you had little embellishments like I did on my card. So this little flower part was also another stamp set. And it had die cuts that went with it. So I had made a bunch of them in the beginning. I don't want to say in the beginning, but maybe a few months back, and I'm just trying to use them up. So sometimes what happens is when we are trying to be efficient, we need to also, the other part of being efficient, not just preparing them, but the other part of efficient is using them as well. So that's what I'm doing now. But a bow would be beautiful, whether it's white or purple. I don't think you could go wrong. So anyway, here is the card. It's a very nice card. I can't think of anyone that wouldn't want to receive this card. It's just very pretty. You can write your message in here, and then go ahead and address your envelope. The other thing is if you have more of this print paper, you can also go ahead and decorate the back flap of your envelope. But I'm good with this. And so I just want to take the time to thank you for joining me today. I hope this content was serving to you. And please leave me a comment, or if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. And I'd appreciate you subscribing again to my website, to my channel here. And if you'd like to know when I upload more videos, then you'll have to click that bell icon. And as always, even if you're watching on the replay, let me know that you're watching, and your comments on the script. So thank you so much for joining me, and you all have a great day.